One. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is having a great day so far. I am here with the Stadium Drive podcast crew. If you haven't heard about them yet, they've had a podcast. They've had a lot of great guests on their show. They've also are transitioning to you. Subscribe to their channel. I'm going to introduce. They're all going to introduce themselves to you shortly on the Stadium Drive podcast, right, guys?
Yep.
That's it.
So, Joe, go ahead and introduce yourself up.
I'm Joe. I can tell I'm a Florida State fan. Don't kill me, but yeah, me and Hudgens started this podcast up, and then we got Brad on later on, and it's been a blast, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm Jason. I'm the Miami Hurricane fan. Die hard, sometimes too die hard. But yeah, we're just three friends. We like to get together and have a few brews and talk all things sports. So yeah, come join us.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Brad. I'm a Georgia fan, a big NFL guy as well. Love being on the Stadium Drive podcast, especially with these guys starting it up, 5-6 months ago and building it and what it is today. So follow us or subscribe to us, both Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah. Stadium Drive podcast. They've had Lawrence Tynes, who was a Super Bowl winning kicker for the New York Giants. He's basically your Pat McAfee, modern day. They also had Quincy Avery, who's coached literally every quarterback in college football, from Jaron Williams to De'Aaron King to James Blackman. He's reached out to as well. And who's the other guest I'm thinking of as well? Oh, they've had John Michaels from State of the U.
Yeah.
He's an Atlanta-based kind of podcaster, radio interview guy, Miami Hurricanes alum as well. So they've done it all.
Yeah.
Great show. Very informative gentlemen. So, guys, without further ado, what do you guys think about this upcoming college football season? It feels like a high school spring game vibe we're about to get. Do you think we're even going to play college football, or is it going to be more modified in the stands, or we won't have fans at all? What's your take, guys?
Well, I think we're gonna have football. I'm not 100% if we're gonna have fans. If there is fans, it might be limited. They might only let a few thousand in, maybe. I don't know. I'm just staying optimistic. I'm trying to stay positive because I can't go without having football this fall. Like, I literally would not know what to do. So.
Absolutely. What about you guys?
Yeah, they're going to have football just because the schools need the money. So, I have a hard time seeing fans at the stadium, which, I'm going to be miserable this year because Florida State's going to be terrible.
Okay.
But I don't want to watch on TV. I'd rather watch it with the Florida State fans than be at home being miserable watching it on TV. I mean, it's just it's hard for me to look forward to this season just because Florida State really hasn't done much this off season, and Norvell, we can talk about later if you want, but Norvell is just he's in a bad situation because he got spring taken away from him. All first year coaches, it's going to be pretty hard for them this year. So I think they're going to have football, especially with the news coming out recently saying that, some schools are going to let them in June. But, it's hard for me to get real excited, for being honest.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts, Brad?
I want this, like he said, I'm ready for college football season, but I'm I don't know, with no fans, it's not really that exciting, I guess. But as a Georgia fan with Newman and all that, I'm I'd like to see what he can do. Obviously, we don't have a rental and then not be able to use him.
Right.
And then, I just want sports back in general overall because it's been a brutal couple months. So, that's what I kind of would say. But with no fans, I don't know. We're supposed to go to a Knowles and Canes game down in Miami this year. And,
okay.
I was going to go down with Hudgens and kind of hang out there. But, I don't know if they're going to have fans by that point. So we'll see, I guess.
Right. No, absolutely. It's going to be a different vibe because I feel like college football, without the fans, it kind of takes away part of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
that game day atmosphere, that hostile environment that you see. It's not an NFL environment that you get with college football, and that's something I have always appreciated with the sport. But I will say this: first-year head coaches are it's a difficult task at hand. You do not have spring practice. You cannot implement your system, your foundation to these new players. It's a new program you have at hand. And I want to pick your brain, Joe, because I know you're a Florida State guy. How much is this going to affect Mike Norvell year one? I mean, I know it's a rebuilding year. Any first-year head coach, it is in a sense a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
How is this going to affect Florida State football?
Well, it's going to affect them this year. It's going to affect them next year too, because with recruiting, his big plan was getting these kids on campus and introducing himself, introducing them to the new staff, and he can't do that now. So it's going to hurt just this year based on not being able to put his system in spring, but it's also going to hurt years after, just because if you look at the recruiting class right now, I think Florida State's like in the 30s. And that's nowhere it should be. And you have to feel bad for him, because a lot of these kids, they don't know who Mike Norvell is. He's a guy from Memphis, and big time recruits really didn't give Memphis any attention. So if you look at it, he's got to find a way somehow to get kids to buy into his system without, knowing him, being on campus. It's tough. I'm worried.
I'm curious about this. I've heard the name Chubba Purdy every 5 minutes. I've talked to a Knowles Game Day. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's been on the show, Logan. He's a great guy. I really like him a lot, regardless if he's a Florida State fan. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He always brought up Chubba Purdy. Is that your guy at quarterback coming in year one? And Chubba Purdy to me sounds like a video game kind of recruit. Goes off and wins the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
So what's kind of the hype around Chubba Purdy?
Well, he hasn't been on campus, or he wasn't an early enrollee. He's still in Arizona. He don't report till July or whatever. So, or June, hopefully. But just for Florida State fans, he's the hope. That's basically what it is we know what we have in James Blackman, which is not much.
Right.
Tate Rodemaker's probably not ready. He's pretty skinny. He was the other guy that was in his class, but with Chubba, he was a 4-star guy, pretty high ranking guy. So it's more hope than anything. But you got to still think it's probably James Blackman's team. He's been there forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So you think he's going to be a QB1?
I think to at least to start the season off, he will be. Obviously, who knows as the season goes on. Florida State has a ridiculous schedule this year, but I think James Blackman will be the starter day one, and he probably won't finish the season as the starter, but I think it's his team. The players love him. The whole team loves him, and they play hard for him, but he's shown that he's not the answer.
No, yeah, absolutely. I always felt bad for James Blackman because he never had a good offensive line. And he always took a lot of hits. I even felt like DeAndre Francois, his freshman year, was a different quarterback than the following.
Yeah.
The offensive line is so key.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the Francois stuff was off the field. He didn't have his head on his shoulder. He was just he was off the field problems. But yeah, that's something that this year our offensive line has. It's basically going to be still the same offensive line. We haven't gotten any transfers. We got the guy from FIU, but supposedly he's just kind of like a average fill in the gap type guy. But we're still, tackle is the big thing. Anytime a player gets in the transfer portal, an offensive tackle, Florida State fans on Twitter go crazy. We've got to get an offensive tackle. Got to.
Absolutely. No, Miami's in the same boat as well. Hey, Brad, what's kind of the hype around Georgia this upcoming season? I know Todd Monken is their offensive coordinator, first-year OC. They got rid of James Coley. He's down at Texas A&M now. Jamie Newman comes in from Wake Forest. Kirby Smart, he's done a very good job so far, but he kind of reminds me of Mark Richt's earlier.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way with that. Jamie Newman obviously is the hype Jake Fromm being gone, and then offensively, I'm excited to see what we do. I wasn't really a Coley fan either, just with the play calling. We talked about that a little bit before, but I think with the SEC, Tua being gone now, like we have a real shot at it. But obviously, with no spring and all that, Newman not being able to be around his teammates could make it a little bit more difficult. But I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, as a Georgia fan, I haven't won since 1980, so I wasn't even born for that, and I'm not going to make no qualms about it. I know a lot of Georgia fans will, talk a lot of smack and all that, but I'm just like, hey, we need to prove it first. When it's 2nd and 24 or whatever, 3rd and 24, and Tua's, first game, and he's beating us in the national championship. It's like you can't really talk a lot of smack on it until you win. So,
Paul, you said you didn't like Jamie Newman at Wake Forest.
Yeah, I didn't see anything special out of him out of Wake Forest. And you're playing in the ACC. It's that's probably the weakest Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Against Clemson, he was horrible against Clemson.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're going to the SEC East,
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that coaching overall takes over at that point. I mean, I don't know exactly how good the coaching is at Wake Forest, but I think Georgia obviously has better coaching. So hopefully, as we go into the season, it's been a struggle with the COVID, but I mean, hopefully they coach him up.
So much more talent around him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I've said this for the longest on our podcast, and I might have said it when I was on with you previously, Paul. The timing was great for Miami to get King, because if King would have came out before Newman went to UGA, there's no doubt in my mind D'Eriq King would be at UGA right now.
I don't think so.
I think so. They have so much more to offer.
Yeah, but King's a system quarterback, and King in the right system. I mean, he'll be good for Miami, but he's not the system quarterback that Georgia is used to.
They have a new OC. Their system's going to be spread up tempo, supposedly. But I just think, that's just what I think. I'm glad we got King. So,
yeah, no, D'Eriq King, I'm excited about. I just hope, and I want to pick your brain, Jason, because Willie Taggart at Florida State, he did hire Kendall Briles, who was a very popular name at OC. Do you think it's a similar situation with Rhett Lashley coming on board, or what do you think is the difference? And I mean, off the bat, I can tell you quarterback play, Alex Hornibrook was not the correct quarterback in that system.
Yeah.
Right in day. It's not.
Yeah. I think it's similar, but I think Rhett Lashley has a better track record from being at Auburn and everything like that. I don't know. What?
Them Briles?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Really?
But I will say this. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Rhett Lashley was a Royals Award finalist. Kendall Briles is a great OC as well. He did at Baylor, was phenomenal. Just want to point that out. But go ahead. Sorry.
This is what you get. Anybody who has not subscribed to us, this is what you get. You get arguments back and forth, a ton of disagreements, but that's what makes it fun. Yeah, I don't know. It's all about, Joe kind of mentioned it earlier, it's all about having people in your system that work, and Hornibrook and Blackman was not, the right guys up at Florida State for Kendall. Hopefully, Lashley having King, they'll fit really well and jive really good and try to make something happen this year with no fans.
I will say though, having an offense like that's really fast, that affects your defense too. So if your offense is struggling your defense is going to have to be on the field more.
Yeah.
It takes a little time to get used to that if you're on defense. I think that, Lashley, he could be a good OC, but he also is not going to have a spring. He's also, Miami's hasn't practiced in his system much.
Right.
So I think it's going to take Miami a little bit of time, but your schedule is so favorable this year that you have that time.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
I think if they were to implement, which I haven't read completely into it this week, but if they were to have some kind of off-season special workout that starts, early June, and they can go from June until the season starts, it would help out everybody in the country, not just Miami. So hopefully they can put something like that in plan to get all these kids back on campus and get them preparing for the season.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And by the way, guys, you guys remind me a lot of the Big Three roll-up. Big Three is like Florida State, Miami. You guys got Georgia, Florida State, and Miami, kind of the South, you know?
Yeah.
No Gators allowed them.
Yeah.
No Gators, no Gators.
No Gators. Hey, I'm fine with that.
I mean, we not only talk college, of course we talk a ton of college, but we also talk NFL, we talk baseball, golf, UFC, pretty much anything under the sun sports. We'll talk about it. We have guests on all the time. We argue. We,
lots of arguing. Lots of arguing. 214
you
New
guys
York
all
Giants.
Atlanta Braves fans?
I am.
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Red Sox, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a Braves fan. I mean, baseball's just whatever.
Joe's a soccer fan. He likes Liverpool, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah. He likes Liverpool.
You get a Manchester United fan on there, so it can be a little debate. But hey, let's go over each team's season prediction. You guys can go. I think Florida State's going to go this. I think Miami's going to go that. Georgia this. I want to hear from all three of you guys, then I'll say mine.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Florida State's defense is actually going to be pretty good this year. They have, I think ESPN rated 3 of their defensive tackles in the top 10. They have weapons on offense. It's all about blocking. That's all that, and we're probably not going to be able to block. So I think if we're able to get to 7 or 8 wins, that would be a success. Obviously, the schedule's tough. If we can start out, beat West Virginia, beat Boise State at Boise State, then I think we can get to 8 wins. But I would say probably 7 to 8 wins.
7, 8 wins. Okay. What do you think about Miami and Georgia?
Me or Joe?
I will go Joe. I want to hear all three of you guys.
Okay.
Miami should. It's all about. We can all sit here and say Miami should win 10 games, which they should. But at some point, Miami's got to prove that they're going to win. It's been forever since Miami's been good, and that's not a shot at anybody. But I think that the schedule is pretty weak. You have guys you've gotten some good transfers in. So I think 9, 10 wins.
9, 10 wins. All right.
And Georgia,
Georgia.
The SEC, I think there's a lot of questions in the SEC. I actually think Jamie Newman will be pretty decent for Georgia with the weapons that he'll have around him. He can move around a lot. He can run. I would say probably 10 wins for Georgia, 10 or 11.
Okay. Sounds good. And Jason?
Yeah.
Be careful, Hudgens.
Yeah. For FSU, I'm going to trust Joe on this one because he obviously knows a lot more than I. 7 or 8 wins. Their schedule is a lot tougher than ours. For Miami, our schedule is Charmin soft, and you can't even find Charmin these days. Everybody's buying everything up. But it's got to be 10 wins for Miami. We have our first 4 are very favorable, and then we get into ACC play. So I'm going to say 10 wins for Miami. There might be a hiccup down the road, obviously. For Georgia, replacing 5 starting offensive linemen, new quarterback, new coordinator. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to say 9 or 10 wins with them as well. I think Auburn's going to be improved. Auburn's, I think they have the most veteran quarterback that they play in Bo Nix, which is weird. And then they play Alabama week 3. So you got to watch out for those two. So yeah, I say 9 or 10 for them.
Okay. And how about for you, Brad?
Yeah, based off what these guys are saying, FSU, I can see 7 or 8 wins. Obviously, with Norvell coming in, and then no spring and all that, it's going to be difficult. But for Miami, I think that obviously a lot of improvement. I can see 10 wins, 9, 10 wins. Obviously, Rousseau is going to be a top 5, top 10 pick. And then overall, I think that they've just gotten better. I think that in the next couple of years, especially with Lawrence leaving, you can see a push for Miami definitely becoming the best team in the ACC, or if not one of the best. And then for Georgia, I could see 1 or 2 losses. I'd say it's going to be tough week 3 in T-Town and Tuscaloosa. Jamie Newman like playing in the SEC really for the first time to beat them in Alabama. But for the Auburn game at home, I think he can turn it around, win that game against an improved, Auburn team. And then it really just comes down to SEC championship and all that. I think we win the East, but they have to win when it comes time too. So obviously you have the South Carolinas and stuff like Goggles missing the kick last season and all that. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, but obviously he's gone. I think I can see 1 to 2 losses, hopefully make it to the SEC championship and then into the playoff. But obviously they've been number 4 or 5 or 6, kind of on the bubble there. I just like to see them become a 1, 2, or 3, so I don't have to worry about it. But that's kind of where I'm at for this season.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm interested to see who between North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Miami is going to play Clemson in the ACC championship. That's going to be a battle this year.
Yeah, North Carolina is going to be – they're going to be solid.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina, I mean, they're a team to look out for. I have Miami going 9-3. Easy schedule. I think 3 losses, possibly to North Carolina. Sam Howell's a great quarterback. But, also sophomore slumps do happen, so we'll see what happens there. FSU, I have going 7-5. They have a very hard schedule. They play Clemson. They play Florida. They always lose to NC State, or it's always a dogfight. I don't know why. That's just how it is. They also play Boise State as well. And they play Miami. So those are 5 games to look out for. Mike Norvell, first-year head coach. Just be careful. They have a good defensive line. Marvin Wilson coming back. Good playmaker, and DJ Matthews as well. Offensive line is a question. So is quarterback play. I'm a big Chubba Purdy fan. I love the name Chubba. I wish I had a quarterback named Chubba on my team. But hey, big. So I look forward to his development. I don't know if he'll play year 1. I know you said James Blackman should be the guy. Georgia, I have them trending down. I have them going 9-3. I don't like a new OC every year. New quarterback in Jamie Newman. I'm not big on him. I'm going to stand by it. If I'm wrong, I'll shake your hand afterwards, Brad, and tell you I'm wrong. I'm not big on Jamie Newman. So I think Kirby Smart will have a down year and go 9-3, and then they'll just be fed up with him and put him on the hot seat. I don't know why. I like him a lot, but that's just my prediction of this season. I'll probably be completely wrong. Florida State will go 11 wins. Georgia's in the national title game, and Miami. That's usually what happens.
I don't care what Florida State's record is as long as they show improvement. Like that's the big thing. Like there's a lot of crazy college football fans out there that you have to win 10, 11 games. If Florida State wins 6 games and they're improved, Taggart's big problem was his first game against Virginia Tech looked exactly like his last game against Miami. They both of those teams, Virginia Tech and Miami, weren't very good, and they still got dominated, and it was still the same mistakes. They just looked like there was poor coaching. So the record for Florida State, I really don't care about as long as we look like we're coached well.
Gotcha. And Joe, we can all agree Miami, Florida State is a much more important game than Florida State, Florida, right?
I'll be honest. I hate Florida more than I hate Miami. I respect Miami. I respect Miami. I've always respected them. They put guys in the league. I hate Florida. There's nothing good I can say about Florida.
Hey, I'll take that answer any day, guys. I know you guys got to get going. Send you guys off. Who are you guys interviewing again at 8 p.m.?
Yeah, we're interviewing Chris Vanini. He is a college football reporter for The Athletic. We're going to be interviewing him tonight on our podcast, and that will drop in the morning around 8 a.m.
Dope. And Stadium Drive Podcast is where they can find you guys on YouTube. Brad, Jason, Joseph, thank you so much for spending 25 minutes of your time, man. It was an honor to have you guys on, and I know you guys are going to kill it on YouTube. Everyone, go subscribe. Thank you, guys.
Hey, man.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Paul,
you.
man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, that was the Stadium Drive podcast crew. Came on for about 25 minutes, talk some college football. Go subscribe to their channel. Now, let's do a live call-in show. I got about 45 minutes. Talk some Canes football real quick. So let's get that going real quick. I'm going to drop the call number down so you guys can call in the show. Give me 1 second. Have everyone call in. And if you have the number already, by all means, call in. Mike Williams, $10 donation. Thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate it. All your support for this channel, man. It does mean a lot. So thank you very much, Mike. I greatly appreciate it, man. I cannot do it without you guys. I truly cannot. Let me find my Skype number real quick. Talk some college football. Thank you again, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. I truly cannot do it without you guys, man. This channel it's come a long way. You know, it really has from where it first started. So, yes. All right. So, Jared Williams, offensive lineman out of the University of Houston. He was an offensive tackle. He will be making his decision Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much, Sigmund, for reminding me. As of right now, it seems like Florida State is making a hard push to land Jared Williams. That seems like the favorite. Baylor as well is another school to look out for. Miami, we'll see what happens. But do not be surprised if he doesn't end up at Miami is what I'm saying. Seems like Baylor, Florida State are ahead. Miami's in third. We'll see what happens. Anything can change in an hour. Anything can change in 24 hours. So just be careful, guys. Regarding that matter. Randy, Paul, are the injured players on campus? Yes, they are on campus. They were in, I think, was it this week they came in or last week? They're back. And Bubba Bolden, by the way, is ready to go for fall camp. His rehab was great in the offseason during COVID-19. He is ready to go. So, hey, they're back. 919-647-4716, guys. By all means, please call in. Appreciate it. Came forever. I greatly appreciate the kind words. Channel is only going to get more creative, get better in certain aspects, and the guests, the list is very exciting. What I have in mind. So, looking forward to the future with this channel moving forward. Yes, I do live in North Carolina right now. I live in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. I am born and raised in Coral Gables, Florida. This is a Skype number, so they use the Raleigh area code. But yeah, I'm actually in Coral Gables right now. I'm not in Raleigh. So yes, I lived in Miami for 23 years, and then I moved when I graduated from school, and I moved up to Raleigh. So I am in the Raleigh, North Carolina area now. It is nice for away games. I would say that. Thank you for calling Paul Scoop on the U. Who am I speaking with?
Dallas Thompson.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to know, what was your thoughts on the Miko Dotson? It seemed like we were doing pretty good and everything just kind of, I don't know, just slowed down.
Yeah.
But now we starting to add more recruits. So I thought we was only, had like one spot left, but I see that's not the case.
Yeah, so Miko Dotson, he was the cornerback from Florida Atlantic University. He led the country in interceptions. Miami, they were interested, but, at the end of the day, they just felt like they were confident in the cornerback group. I've spoken to Brian the Beast London, who's been been associated with the program, covering the team for a very long time. Jose Duaso, who runs Miami Immortals, which is an outstanding 7-on-7 football program. And they both told me this staff strongly believes in DJ Ivy, Al Blades, Christian Williams, to Corey Couch. So they felt like adding Miko Dotson to the roster wasn't a priority, and Florida State went out and grabbed him. So that's what the situation really was. Also, regarding adding more players, if Jared Williams, for example, the Houston offensive tackle, does come to Miami, we would take a scholarship from the 2021 class.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, it's Neither did I, really. So we're on the same boat.
Okay, well, I just want to tell you I love the show.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you letting me call in, and just continue doing the good job that you're doing.
Thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate it, man. I greatly appreciate your support, man. So thank you so much for your call, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too.
All right, man. Peace. Yeah, Miko Dotson, by the way, guys, FAU cornerback. Very good player. Going to Florida State. A lot of people would have loved to have him at Miami. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. You know, hey, we're very slim at cornerback. So it would have been a great addition to that position group moving forward. Let's see some questions real quick. Paul, why the sudden uptick in YouTube? You still have the job. Good question. There is definitely a story, backstory to that matter. I don't want to get too personal, personal things, but yeah, COVID-19 definitely did have a big impact in my personal life, in my different levels of income, I would say, in that sense, in my work life as well. Thank you, Ohio Hurricane, for the $10 donation. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Just shows you we have Miami Hurricanes fans in every state around the country, and I greatly appreciate the $10 donation, sir. And he has been supporting my channel, Mike Williams as well, Joseph Holmes, for quite a while, so I greatly appreciate it, guys. All your support, cannot do it without you guys. Have I heard anything about when practice starts back? Blake James did make an announcement. I forgot the date. I think it was either August 1st or somewhere in July where University of Miami practice will resume. The expectation is that they will resume kind of 4 to 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks before their first game against Temple, which I believe is on September 5th. So, that is the expectation. I think there will be college football. I really do. And so look out for that. I mean, I'm sure the date may change. I know they're having voluntary workouts in a sense. De'Ara King was throwing passes to D. Wiggins and Mark Pope today. So that was very cool to see. Do I think this year we start to turn around? Great question. I'm not sure. I really don't know. It's a very strange college football season. I don't know if there will be fans. I hope so. I mean, I think we have the right OC. We have the right quarterback. We have a great defensive end unit. I think as a whole, we're a pretty solid defensive line unit as well. Pretty stacked at safety. Cornerback play is a question. Linebacker play is another question as well. And, we'll see. I mean, hey, I think we will, but I think I'm going to say 9-3. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to stick by it. I hope they do better than 9 wins. They should do better than 9 wins. But knowing this team, we're a very streaky team. Either we win consecutively or we lose consecutively. There's no one way or the other. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I really do hope we have success this season. We're due as a program. We do not need another bad season. So it'll be nice to see Manny Diaz recruiting with a 10-win season. He got us in the top 11th best coaching staff, in the 11th best recruiting class, my apologies, in the nation after losing to FIU and Louisiana Tech. So imagine if he gets 10 wins. Unknown Faith, $2 donation. Thank you very much, sir. Paul, if we go 6-7, will Manny keep his job? That's a great question. I do not think he will keep his job. 7 losses in this schedule is horrendous. This is the easiest schedule of mankind. In Power 5 football, Miami has the easiest schedule in Power 5 football. Okay? No doubt in my mind, if he has 7 losses, he is gone. With De'Ara King at quarterback, with the best defensive end position group in the nation, outstanding safeties, great tight end group, great running back group, 7 losses? No, absolutely not. It's unacceptable. I think Manny Diaz will be gone, and man, I hope not. I hope he does well, because we don't need another coaching change. We really don't. Every 3 years, a new coaching change is not healthy for any program. So, I hope he does well, but we'll see what happens. That's why they play the game, right? Jose Santos, thank you very much for the $5 donation, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Once again, man, I can't do it without you guys. 61 people in the chat. No sports. 35 minutes in. I greatly appreciate it, guys. And once again, man, this channel will only get better. The vision will only get brighter, and the guests will only get stronger as well. So greatly appreciate it. By the way, check out my Colin McCarthy interview. Great stuff. If you're curious about the Rhett Lashley offense, check out my Damon Sales interview as well. He works with SMU Rivals. He's been covering SMU football completely the past season. I've also had Brad Coons, former offensive lineman, part of the 2000-2004 group. Jose Duaso, Miami Immortals 7-on-7 football coach, Miami Senior High School assistant coach as well. Also had Austin Feniger, ex-Miami Hurricane wide receiver, and currently NFL agent that represents Javonte Dean and Mike Smith as well. All right. Do I think we land Rashard Smith and what position he plays for us? I got Rashard Smith playing receiver for Miami. If he does land Miami, we got Oregon, we got Tennessee. I don't think he goes to Florida. I'll be honest with that. I think it's going to be Oregon, Tennessee, Miami, last-minute battle. I think we're in a good position for Rashard Smith. I think we're gaining traction. I don't think Miami's in a bad spot. It's going to be a battle to the end, but we'll see what happens. Recruiting is an interesting game. I don't see him going to Oregon, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know why. I have a good feeling Rashard Smith will commit to Miami. But once again, guys, we need to win football games. If Miami goes 8-4, 7-5, you're not going to get Rashard Smith. You're not going to land him. You're not going to land any of the Palmetto kids. You know, there's 5 of them: Leonard Taylor, Jason Marshall Jr., Savion Collins, Collier as well, and Rashard Smith. I think those are the 5. So you got to win 10 games. You got to land those Miami Palmetto Senior High School kids, man. 919-647-4716, guys. Call in. Let's talk some Canes football or whatever you want to talk about. Randy, I greatly appreciate it, sir. It means the world to me. I know you're always supporting the channel, always on the live show, so I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Do you think we will see a point in the game where we see Roche, Rousseau, and Phillips in the game at the same time? No, I do not think so. I think they're just going to rotate the guys in and out, just kind of rotate snaps. That is a scary group, very scary group. Thank you for calling, Paul Scoop on the U. Who am I speaking with?
It's Rashad out of Miami.
Hey, Rashad, how you doing, man? I knew you were out of Miami, man. You had the 786 number. I got a 305 one, but it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, man, I got a few questions for you about the defensive staff.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as we let go of Dan Enos, I feel like, man, you brought in the right coach for Rhett Lashley. Not like all the assistant coaches Rhett Lashley brought in, but I'm not as high on the defensive staff anymore. Like, Blake Baker is like a C minus coach in my opinion.
Okay.
When I saw him drop Greg Rousseau back in coverage, like he lost.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But he actually did play that pass coverage well. It wasn't like it was a miss. Like he covered it well.
Right.
But no, it was stupid. I agree.
And then as far as like Mike Rumps, he's a great developer, like we know. But I feel like recruiting, I'd rather have somebody who has 5-star talent and not just like an average developer of that talent than somebody who is a great developer of talent but gets C, like 3-star kids,
Right. No, I agree. And Mike Rump, he does get a lot of like late Alabama commits that like Alabama doesn't want on the class anymore. They just kind of ghost on them to the point where it's like, go find another school. Like Javonte Dean out of the JUCO college and Christian Williams, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like Christian. I think Christian is going to be pretty good, actually. Him and Corey and Isaiah Dunson, I think they're going to be better than DJ Ivy and Al Blades.
Okay. How about Marcus Clark? Are you high on him too?
I think he's more of like a developmental guy. I could see him playing like nickel.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think he's like our prime time outside corner. When we start winning, we got Alabama next year, so we're going to need guys who can run too. That's my main problem with the cornerback room. Like our guys aren't they don't have elite speed.
Right.
You know,
right.
like DJ Ivy has pretty good technique, you know, long arms, but he just doesn't have that long speed.
Right. Right. No, I agree. No, I completely agree. DJ Ivy, looking back at it, I mean, I know this is going to be his junior season, give or take, or his sophomore season, one or the other, redshirt sophomore, if anything. You know, he does have the tools of a 4-star recruit, but I mean, he was not consistent at all this past season. I'm worried. I'm worried about our cornerback group. I really am. And Manny Diaz is aware, though. He's aware about the situation with Coach Rump. Now, the thing is, though, Manny Diaz doesn't want to give up Coach Packey because they told him, if you're going to fire Coach Rump, you got to get rid of Coach Packey. And Coach Packey's part of his coaching tree. So,
what's so great about Coach Packey? Like,
no, I don't think
I don't see I don't see what's so great about him.
No, I think special teams play has been awful. I think linebacker play has been inconsistent. It's not even been there. Development's been awful. I don't really care for Coach Packey at all. But Manny Diaz brought him from the ground up. He's a student of the Coach Diaz coaching tree. You know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like.
And it seemed like.
Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. I was saying it seems like as soon as Rhett Lashley got here, like his assistant coaches, Garen Justin, has been killing it. Rob Likens has us in like top 5s for like the lead wide receivers. He has, I think, 2 receivers on the first round, 2 years straight, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like those guys are Miami quality. I don't think Banda is Miami quality. He doesn't really have like a history. Like before he was at Miami, I don't think he was coaching at all.
He was at Mississippi State with Dan Mullen. And with Dak Prescott. When Dak Prescott was there, yeah. Because they all came from Mississippi State. Manny Diaz, Banda, and Packey.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're a little group of friends. So we'll see what happens, man.
Right now it seems like the offensive recruiting, especially offensive line and running back. I love Coach Hickson. Like he's been killing it with Chaney and Knighton, and he has Stan Franklin. Like he's doing his thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like our offensive staff is good, like legitimate, like nasty. So
yeah. So I mean, it looks like the offense is outperforming the defense on the recruiting trail. But if we win games, maybe some things to break our way.
Right. Exactly.
But, yeah.
I mean, we went 6-7 last season. It was a joke of a season, and look at the recruiting class we brought in.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And Isaiah Walker, that's going to be huge, I think.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. Isaiah Walker. I don't think year 1 it's going to make a huge impact, but I mean, year 2, year 3, it's going to be nice. It's going to be very nice.
All right, so I got 2 quick questions before I let you go, man. I'll just listen. First one, projecting early into next year. I know we don't know who the quarterback will be, but just based off all our other talent, like Isaiah Walker, stuff like that, what do you think should be the spread for the Alabama game? Do you think that'll be like, can we compete with them, or do you see that being like a blowout? Because remember, like they played Florida State a few years ago. Florida State was like right there until they took off in the second half a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of see that unfolding?
I think Alabama. I kind of see it as like they kind of underestimate Miami, and then Miami sneaks up on them because we have good athletes, we have great speed. And Alabama's like, whoa, like these guys actually can play. Kind of how we underestimated LSU, and then they were actually really good. So I think Miami jumps off to an early lead in the first half, and then everyone's like, kind of like how we were beating Florida, but like bigger. And then Alabama kind of calms down. They're like, hey, like let's play our game, and then they win at the end. So I think Alabama will win a close game. I don't know. I got to see this season. We are so far away. I mean, if it's the same kind of inconsistent play, where like sometimes our cornerbacks play well, sometimes they don't. Linebacker play is still injury plagued. Offensive line is still a question. Then we'll have a long game against Alabama because they will eat us apart if we don't bring our A.
Oh yeah. So, I think the trenches is going to be like really important in that game. Like you're going to have to play in the trenches.
Exactly.
I don't know if you noticed, but it seems like whenever Alabama plays like either Florida or Florida State, they usually like hang around because like they have those Florida athletes, you know, so people aren't overwhelmed by their speed. Like, All right, so last one. What was it? All right, so outside of our normal rivals like Florida State, Florida, like what out-of-state school do you hate the most? Like, would you never want to lose to?
Penn State and Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, Penn State and Notre Dame. Just those two programs specifically, I cannot stand.
Yeah.
I hate Penn
I
State.
agree.
I hate Penn State.
Mine would actually be Ohio State. I hate
Ohio State as well. Yeah, all three of those schools I don't like.
Yeah.
No, I'm with
why
you.
would you play them more?
Because Penn State, I don't know. We do play. We're going to schedule Notre Dame a lot in the future, actually. If you look at the future schedule, we're going to play them like 5 years in a row or every other year. Penn State, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We play them in Happy Valley 1 year, 2001. We haven't played them since, I don't know, it's Big Ten football, Ohio State. We did play Ohio State a lot for a non-conference opponent the past, few years. But, it doesn't favor Miami, any of those games.
Yeah, especially Ohio State right now.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Like, that LSU game humbled this program,
Yeah.
So
it did.
That was a different animal. So, hey, man, I appreciate your call. And,
I was going to say, man, it was good talking to you, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Definitely, man. And, hey, many blessings to you and your family, man. And, man, go Canes. All right, man. Peace. All right, guys. Rep Varner, $5 donation. Do you think with no fans, they could Zoom live stream feeds of fans on big screen? That's a good question. Maybe some fan noise. I don't know how that even works, the behind the scenes thing. I don't know. It's definitely going to be a big impact on home field advantage. I wonder, how a lot of teams play without a home field crowd. And once again, Brett, thank you very much for the $5 donation. I greatly appreciate it. 66 people in the live chat, guys. We got 13 minutes left. Thank you so much. Hit the like button if you want. Thank you, Henry, for the kind words. Greatly appreciate it. Call in. Let me put up the phone number in again. You can call in the live show. 919-647-4716, guys. Feel free to call in. If you have any questions, by all means, put it in the public chat. Two teams I hate the most. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I cannot stand them. I hate Lou Holtz. I hope is he alive still? I don't know. I don't care. I cannot stand Lou Holtz. Penn State. I do not like Penn State one bit. I don't like anything that program stands for. I don't know as a recruit, how do you even choose to go to Penn State? I don't see anything happy about Happy Valley. I think it's a pathetic. I'm not. You know what? I'm done with the rant with Penn State. I'm not going to go there. Not a fan of either program. And Ohio State, of course, I dislike them. The one thing Miami fans had to come to realization with, should we be mad at Ohio State or should we be mad at Terry Porter? That's someone we should be upset with. Yes, Daffy Duck, Lou Holtz, Baby Shaq. Daffy Duck, Lou Holtz. By the way, guys, is anyone, that's kind of not a good question to ask because there may not be fans, there may be like 10,000 fans, but was anyone planning to go to the Michigan State football game coming up this season? East Lansing, I heard there's not much to do in East Lansing. We got someone calling in. Thank you for calling Paul Scoop on the U. Who am I speaking with?
This is Brett.
Brett, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. How you doing, Paul?
Good, man. Good to hear from you. This is the first time we've been on the phone together, man, so I greatly appreciate your call.
Yeah, I've watched on Holden's channel and several other channels, but yeah, first time doing it. Just wanted to congratulate you. You've been doing a great job on your show. It's really, really, really been good. I've really enjoyed. I hadn't got a chance to watch all of them, the live feeds, but I've rewatched them. I've just been kind of tied up with work lately. But yeah, you've been doing great. I've been loving the content.
Thank you, bro. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you for your support, man. I know you're on a lot, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Does anyone know why last year Blake Baker went with the rake technique with our corners, like the rake not looking at the ball and kind of raking it loose as it comes down? Because
that's a great question.
horribly screwed us last year. I mean, if they would have just turned around, they could have like 10 interceptions last year. And I mean, the ball went right by them.
That's an outstanding question. I remember how Blade specifically, that happened a lot to him.
Yeah, and I mean, the 2 years prior to that was not the prior to Blake Baker getting there. That's not the corners were playing the ball, and
Right.
then last year that changed. So that had to have been something that was implemented by Blake Baker.
Hey, Brad, I'll tell you what. All the games I went to, and just watching on TV as well, I remember Trajan Bandy was very frustrated before the snap a lot, looking at the sidelines, trying to get a playoff. Kind of seemed like nobody knew what they were doing in a sense. And then Bandy also tweeted out that, hey, like it's tough to like play for a defense that doesn't suit you or something of that aspect. I think there was a lot of frustration, within the defensive side, the cornerback group specifically with this new defense. It was a new defense. It was different from Manny Diaz's defense that he brought. So I think players were frustrated.
Yeah,
it was a lot of thinking.
Yeah,
and not natural.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of reminding me of D'Onofrio in the sense of like players just had to think too much, where Manny Diaz was just like, hey, just go out and play, be an athlete. So.
Yeah, I agree totally. That's the same thing I thought as well. That it was, that they said when Blake Baker first came on that he was a student of Manny Diaz. He ran the same aggressive defense, but that was not true. It was not the same. It was different. And like I said, all in all, like I could live with most of it, but that breaking the ball and not looking for the ball. I mean, that's with the athletes we have. That's crazy.
Right.
And I think that was one of the big things that finally led to Manny having to go over there and settle the players down or whatever, because I think they were upset more than not listening to Blake Baker. I think they were upset at some of the things that were being implemented, because like I said, that not looking for the ball, I mean, that might work for an FCS program or a high school program or something, but when you're on the level that they're on, you can't play. You got to play the ball.
Right. No, I 100% agree. And we should have good cornerbacks year in, year out. This shouldn't be a problem with the athletes we have, So.
Yeah, and I mean, I realized that the cornerbacks that started last year didn't have much playing experience, but you may not have trusted them that well, but still, you can't just start teaching a cornerback a totally new way of playing the ball when they've been playing it the other way. They're pretty much their whole life, and expect good things to happen. It just really frustrated me to watch the ball just go right by these people's heads, and if they would have just turned around, they would have been running the other way.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too, I don't think Bandy should have ever played on the outside. I think he should have been strictly a nickel corner.
Yeah, me too. I agree too. I agree with that as well. I don't think he should have been on the outside either, because what wasn't that pick that he had against Notre Dame? Wasn't that him in the nickel,
right?
Or in the slot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think he was out of his. I think that was out of his comfort zone. So he was just too short to play the outside on a consistent basis. I agree with that too. So I think playing the slot or in the nickel and focusing on that one entity, I think he could have been really good. But like I said, with switching them up and moving them all around, and then not looking for the ball, and I'm not sold on Blake Baker. I'm super hyped with Rhett Lashlee. I'm so glad that we are going to a spread offense. I was beginning to wonder if it was ever going to happen. I was really starting to get like really upset, and so I'm super hyped with that. And I do believe that it will not take them long to adjust to that style offense. I don't think that there's going to be like a half a year learning curve to where things don't. I think things will click pretty quick with him. I just have a good vibe about him altogether, and different from Enos is you can look at the offense he ran last year. You can look at it and visually see it. So whereas with Enos, you could not because he didn't run an offense. And it just, with a quarterback that really couldn't run the ball, and he was a grad transfer, so he had never played for Rhett Lashlee before. And I mean, he lit it up.
Yeah,
with an offensive line that's probably about the same as ours.
Yeah, no, Derek King.
Derek King is with him and his running ability, I think Rhett Lashlee just like sitting in the room, like licking his, chops, like he's going to murder people.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very interesting how we play with Derek King.
Yeah, that up tempo offense, man. I can't wait to see that. That will make me feel so much better. And I know people say that, well, to put the defense out there more. Well, if we're scoring 7 points, then I'm good with that.
Yeah, and plus year one, I mean, no one in the ACC has seen this offense before, so it's going to be
no, And like I said, Rhett Lashlee was doing that with athletes that we have far more athletic people than he had at SMU. So he's going to be able to, I think that this is going to be crazy. I think that it's going to click because I think it's going to be the right move. So I think it's just going to start working pretty much right away. And going fast, it ain't no difference than going 3 and out with Enos, because that's all we did with him was go 3 and out.
Right. Yeah.
With 3 play action passes involved in it.
Right.
So, but anyways, I just wanted to call and tell you that love your show. You've been doing good, and hopefully we'll get to watch some football here in the fall. I sure hope so.
Definitely, Brett. Hey, I greatly appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you so much, and man, I can't thank you enough for supporting your channel, man. For supporting my channel. So thank you.
No problem at all. I'll hop back in the stream, but take care. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Brett. Take care. Bye. Brett Varner, everyone. Big fan of the channel. Greatly appreciate your call. And man, it's going to be very interesting to see how Blake Baker does improve year 2 at the University of Miami. Remember, he did a pretty decent job at Louisiana Tech, stats-wise, had a pretty solid defense. So we'll see, man. But I truly think Manny Diaz will never let go of his baby, which is the defensive kind of mentality we have at Miami. So, I don't, even if things do go kind of sour, go south, defensive side of the football, I think Manny Diaz will get the job done. And Rhett Lashlee as well, man. I think he's a great hire. And, man, I think he was the appropriate hire to get the job done at Miami. Defensively, took care of business. Offensively, Mark Richt, Dan Enos, not so much. Want to thank everyone for joining this evening's live show. Been doing a lot more live shows more actively. We'll be doing short videos as well. I'm sure once there's practice going on, more news going on around the program, maybe Jared Williams announcement Memorial Day weekend to look out for. I'll be coming out with some videos. And just thank you guys, so much for supporting the channel, joining me on this journey. It's been close to 2 years, and I'm excited to see what happens in the near future moving forward with this channel. So thank you a lot, guys. And man, just looking forward to make more videos. Hope everyone has a great day, and always all about the U. Go Canes.